Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
So I was out browsing the net as I do, and noticed some things that I wanted to talk about for today's podcast. And before I start here, I want to be quite clear about sort of my take on some of the things we're going to talk about today. There is a fair amount of pain and suffering that happens in life that is not optional. This is the pain of growth, the pain and suffering that comes with adversity and hardship and things like that. So when we start talking about kind of the way we apply our understanding of these things Masonically, it's important to understand that or for you to know as a listener that I understand that kind of life happens and that people have to suffer through some stuff as they grow. That said, as we talk about or talk to some of our younger brethren as they're coming up to the ranks, one of the things that I've seen is essentially what qualifies as toxic masculinity. Now, I know that's a woke or a buzzword kind of phrase, and a lot of folks don't really understand what it means. But it starts with phrases like nut up or stuff that really is an insult to someone's manhood in the context of essentially pointing out that they need to suffer more, or that they haven't suffered perhaps what you might have suffered individually. And so this is a difficult thing for a lot of guys because we go through a lot of stuff in life and we don't talk about it. And we kind of wear that suffering in some ways as a badge of honor. But for our younger brethren, and that's really who this world is for when you think about it, a lot of them have different experiences. They may be come from an environment where they have not been trained or educated. They may come from an environment where they have grown up and have calluses in different places than you do as a man. Emotional, social, internet-based, whatever. It doesn't really matter. What does matter, I think, as we proceed forward and try and nurture each other in our growth, is that we don't demand that the world essentially endure in the same way we have endured. The world has become a much more subtle place. And you can argue all day whether or not that subtlety is good or bad, but our brethren deserve compassion in those conversations. The application of the trowel is our responsibility. And so when we start to think about nurturing others through the adversity of growth, it is important to understand that everyone works their own stone and you don't know what that is. We've talked about this a little bit in the past, but some of the explicit stuff I've seen online lately of guys knocking each other down instead of lifting each other up was a little bit disturbing in that, again, you can't see the stone they're working. You can't see what's going on in their world. And so with the sort of sight blindness that you have, even with guys well, there's a ton going on inside that headspace they may have. It's important to remember that trowel as we move forward. And remember, too, that, what you may have learned at 12, someone else may learn at 50. And what you may learn at 50, someone else may have learned at 18 or what have you. And so since we're all traveling on our own timelines, I think it's important, too, to remember that compassion was once given you, hopefully, in your life. And so a lot of the sort of application of the tools of Freemasonry are in context of perhaps an individual journey in a specific sort of domain or expertise, right? So I like to use video game analogies for a lot of stuff. It's like levels in a video game. My, my conversation skills may be, level 8 and somebody else's may be a level 2. And that's okay. I remember maybe getting from level, 6 to level 7, but you can't look down on the level 2 guys that are just trying to figure it out. And in the same way, a lot of stuff that I really am not great at or don't know much about, it becomes important to be able to, in a safe way, ask for help amongst the brethren of the lodge. So as you are taking new guys under your wing, remember, use that trowel and take good care of each other. It's tough enough out there without, the guys you're supposed to trust taking a swing at you. And if you've done it in the past, and I think we all have to a degree, remember your trowel when you go to work.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at amasonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.